Welcome to Family Rosary Presents Through the Mysteries. Join hosts Father David Marcham, Allison Gingras, and Stephen Driscoll as they share their thoughts on how to integrate the Rosary into daily family life. You'll also learn more about the inspiring story of Father Patrick Peyton, a Holy Cross priest, his journey towards sainthood, and why he believed that the family that prays together stays together.
Welcome to Family Rosary Presents Through the Mysteries. This is airing on Thanksgiving, so we decided to make it a special Thanksgiving episode. The first thing we're thankful for is that Victoria Hassan, who is our social media specialist, is joining us in place of Father David Marcham. Victoria, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I hear this is your favorite holiday, so it's a really good timing to have you on.
Well, I would say second favorite holiday after Christmas, but I do love me some Thanksgiving food.
I can't wait to hear more about your Thanksgiving celebrations. With us as well is Stephen Driscoll. Thank you, Stephen.
Good morrow. Thank you.
Good morrow?
Yeah,
Is that
old-timey.
You're a very old soul.
I know what I am. I lean into it.
Very old soul. And I'm just old, so we're just going to move forward with our episode. We're continuing the discussion in November of the November 2025 Global Holy Cross Family Ministry theme, Pilgrims of Hope for Families, Living Charity, and today we're going to be looking at being thankful. The Eucharist is, at its heart, a celebration of gratitude. In fact, the word Eucharist comes from a Greek word that means thanksgiving. During the Mass, we give thanks to God the Father for the gift of salvation, which becomes real and present to us through the body and blood of Christ. Today, we're going to dive into the fifth luminous mystery, the institution of the Eucharist. First, we will look at how our ordinary events of our lives can be connected, linked to a rosary mystery, and what we like to call the Rosary Mystery Day. Stephen? What is your Rosary Mystery Day today?
Well, because this is our special episode, special American holiday episode, you gotta go for the wedding feast, because it's a big feast, and they're celebrating, and they're thankful, and they love Jesus so much because he did that miracle. Just like us, we love him so much, but not just for that one miracle, though it was a pretty good miracle.
What was that one miracle?
The water into wine.
That's a good miracle.
It's a good one. And that starts as ministry, so can't complain about it. It's a good.
That is a good mystery day. Victoria?
I would definitely be having a joyful mystery visitation day. Since this mystery highlights the joy of sharing God's blessings with others, I feel like this is exactly what we do on Thanksgiving. We talk about, what we're blessed and thankful for with family, and we share that joy with our family and friends.
What an answer. It's almost like she works for a rosary ministry or something.
I know, right? That's kind of crazy.
Well, in our last episode, Stephen and Father Charlie, who worked together, kind of synced the whole way through the episode. So Victoria and I worked together in marketing communications, and guess what? I also had the visitation. As this is releasing on Thanksgiving Day, it's clear we're recording, but I still wanted to kind of look at that day, and I can guarantee that I'm having on that day a joyful mystery visitation type of day. I won't be going in haste. At first, we'll be attending Mass. Can I just tell you, the first time I decided to bring my family to church for Thanksgiving, I just really assumed the whole Mass would be focused on thanks and how grateful we should be, and having little to information or knowledge of the liturgical season at that point. It is probably the most solemn Mass other than Good Friday, because it's the end of liturgical season and it's pretty much all about death. So that did not work out for me as this.
That's a tough one. Yikes.
Yeah, didn't see that coming. But we still continue to go to Mass on Thanksgiving because it really is the greatest prayer that we have in our church is to attend Mass. I just come with a totally different expectation than I did that first day. And I'm sure we will be. I pray that we'll be together as a family, and I'll be delighted to serve my family, mostly because I'm not doing the cooking. I'm just going to be helping the cook, which is always, for me, best interest of all people. We were at a restaurant the other day, and the sign said, "Many people have eaten here, few have died."
Oh, that's good.
That's
It's
very
really
comforting.
Yeah, I need that in my
Jinx.
kitchen. Next, I'm going to do a little commercial interruption here for our Advent calendar. The creator of that Advent calendar, the Countdown Prayer Chain calendar, is actually Victoria. Victoria, you want to say a little bit about this wonderful resource we've created?
Sure. This is our second year with our Advent paper chain calendar. It's a free download on familyrosary.org. So it's a paper chain, and on one side you can color cute little Advent-y Christmas illustration. And on the other side has an activity or a prayer or something inspiring to kind of ponder on the other side. And you can either make the chain as you go, or you can make the chain in the beginning and then take off a loop each day. So it's really fun for every age.
And you can go to familyrosary.org to download that today. It really came out adorable. I used to be a preschool teacher, so I was really excited to have something like that for families. And I don't think you have to be preschool age to enjoy it. I mean, I colored it along with my daughter, who is a little bit older than a preschooler at 19, but we had a great time with this, and every day having a prompt to kind of go through Advent, keeping Christ at the center of it, that reason for the season. So beautiful job on that, Victoria. Again, go to familyrosary.org to download. So since we sort of consider this our special Thanksgiving edition, we'll start with sharing our favorite Thanksgiving holiday traditions. And Stephen, I'm going to start with you.
All right. So I don't have anything too crazy or outlandish, but my brother and I, so we usually have the dinner proper with my immediate family, so my parents, my brother and myself, and then maybe an aunt or an uncle or some cousins from my mom's side, because my dad's side is pretty big. He's 1 of 9, so there's a good 45, 50 of us all.
Oh,
so
my goodness.
we usually just do a small Thanksgiving, and then my brother and I will go visit my dad's side wherever they're doing the holiday that year, and we'll hang out for a little bit and then go back to our meal. But my favorite thing is, for every major holiday, we make Portuguese sweetbread.
Oh,
It's so good,
I'm
and
so
I love
jealous.
making it. It's a lot of fun. It's good stuff. That's probably my favorite thing about the holiday.
Do you make it again for Easter and put an egg in it?
I don't do the egg. I'm not Portuguese enough for that, you know? It's my great-grandfather who came from Portugal. So really, I only have the recipe, which my grandmother got from the newspaper. So I'm
I love that. I love
Barely.
when those recipes that get passed down from generation to generation. And I had a grandmother that had this amazing recipe that we thought she made up and actually came from the side of a soup can. So
yeah, same thing for us. My dad asked my grandmother one time, he's like, Nan, was this your father's recipe or like his mom's or something? And she goes, no, I found it in the Globe. The Boston Globe, for those who are unacquainted.
and by the egg, it's a Portuguese tradition to make this sweetbread and then put an egg on the top of it and bake it, and becomes a hard-boiled egg. And it's I have no idea, and I am Portuguese. I'm like 100%, and I have no idea where that tradition came from, and nor do I make that. But moving on to Victoria, what is your Thanksgiving traditions?
We have a few. So we usually go to my mom's side, and she, I guess, like Stephen's family, has a big family. So there's a lot of us, and we're all Italian, so it can get a little bit loud. But it's fun. It's all good. And we usually say a prayer before Thanksgiving dinner, and we usually say it out loud. My mom usually likes to lead it. And we also, in that prayer, remember some family members who have passed on, just to kind of honor them and remember them and why we're blessed for them. So that's always a really beautiful tradition. And then after dinner, we usually play board games and do trivia. So that's kind of been our thing. And when we go home, me and my parents will usually watch the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving movie, because I'm a big Peanuts fan.
And that cooking, Snoopy, actually, him and I, we could have gone to the same cooking school, pretty much.
You like the
Toast and
toast
popcorn?
But except for I burn the toast, and he
Oh.
gets it right. And I make the popcorn in the microwave. So,
any jelly beans?
oh, jelly beans are the best.
Yeah.
Gonna have the licorice ones. You ever?
Ooh,
Okay,
Ooh.
weird
just
take.
Hot take.
Yeah, yeah.
have you ever tried that disgusting game, the bean boozle
Oh
game?
my gosh, they have like the pepper spray and
There's one that's like literally tastes like puke. Not that I've ever
Yeah.
tasted puke, but like that's the name of it.
Allison, I don't know if you remember this, but for, I think, was it Christmas last year? You got me a little thing of that game. I've done it before, so it's still sitting on my desk. I haven't found anyone brave enough or foolish enough to trick into trying them again.
I got it for my kids, and it came with extras, and I thought, who else would try this? Oh, Stephen would try this. Or maybe I was just hoping you would try the puke one. Just kidding. Does anyone else pray for, I love that you pray for family members who have passed away. That is so important for us to continue to pray for souls when they've passed away, but also to keep them part of that, of our family tradition. Either praying for them or even telling stories, just to keep, we talk about passing down the recipes, but because I think like that's what the rosary is. It's passing down the stories of Jesus and Mary, and we remember them every day that we pray the rosaries. We go through these mysteries. Do either one of you have any thoughts about praying for or telling the stories of your family?
I'm a big advocate for praying for the repose of the soul of my family members. Now it's, for me, whenever I pray the rosary, I try to do a daily rosary, but my first intention is always for the repose of my grandparents and any other souls in purgatory in need of a prayer. And, well, I didn't previously pray for the repose of the souls of anyone on Thanksgiving like Victoria, but I think I will be stealing that. So thank you for that. Great idea.
And it's the perfect month for it because in the church, in the Catholic Church, we look at November as this month of remembering the holy souls in purgatory, for praying for our dead. Victoria, besides, you just shared that you prayed for them, but do you also share stories?
Yeah, of course. Actually, I was just visiting my grandmother this weekend, and we were sharing stories about my grandfather who passed away, and we were just hysterically like crying, laughing at the chaos that used to go on when he was younger, and just some of the stories that my dad and his brothers would share about when they were younger. It was just, it's always so fun, and it's really great to kind of keep their memory alive through story.
Yeah. And I really do miss all my grandparents, but one of the things I'm very grateful for myself was making that time to spend with them and to ask them their story so that I can try to keep their legacy going. One of the traditions we haven't done in a long time is a totally cheesy one that I loved. We had this like pumpkin dish on the like shaped bowl on the table.
Very thematic.
Yeah, it was very. I'm a thematic kind of girl.
Me too.
I really love a good pumpkin spice. Yeah, surprise. And we took and put like little pieces of paper next to it, and throughout the whole month leading up to Thanksgiving, the kids could go and just write whatever they were thankful for that month or that year leading up, and then on Thanksgiving we tried to go through them all. They had very short attention spans, as do I. So we only got through a few, but it was a really neat exercise in being thankful and being really mindful of the blessings in our life. We called it a blessing bowl. Very, again, thematic and very Allison-esque. So that was pretty neat. So again, the theme of our show is being thankful. It is living charity, and through the mysteries always tries to connect to the mysteries of the rosary in your everyday, ordinary life. So this one I started off by saying that we're going to be looking at the institution of the Eucharist, Eucharist meaning thanksgiving. It's the greatest prayer the church has given us. So I thought we'd maybe spend a little time looking at our experiences with the Eucharist through Mass or adoration. So Victoria, let's begin with you.
I really love attending adoration when I can. One of my favorite experiences of adoration was actually at the National Eucharistic Congress last year, and to be praying with, I think it was like 30,000 people. Was it?
I think it was more
than that?
60 or 80,000, or am I just inflating? Maybe they all
praying
weren't
with
there.
a lot of people.
Thousands
a
and
lot
thousands
of people. It was just really powerful to see everyone together in that space praying, and yet it was also so personal at the same time. Like I could just close my eyes and it just felt like me and God together right there, and then I'd open my eyes and be like 60,000 or however many people are doing the same thing. It was really beautiful.
They did such a great job with that. They had in the middle of the auditorium just this altar with the giant monstrance I've ever seen in my life, just totally illuminated everything else around. dark with just Jesus, the star of that moment. That was a beautiful, powerful experience. Stephen, were you there that night with us?
I was, yeah. I think I went to 2 of those. There was the one where they had the monks singing.
Oh, that was neat.
That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, I
the
think
next
I went to
one
both, too.
was Matt Marr. So
Yeah.
also, can't beat that, It's pretty great.
I was at World Youth Day in Rio de Janeiro with Matt Marr, came out, and on his knees played Lord, I Need You in adoration with Pope Francis sitting right there. That's like a surreal experience of Catholic dorkiness for me. I was like, it felt almost super, I mean, it is a supernatural moment because anything with God is supernatural, but just, it's interesting that you said, Victoria, that you were there with thousands of people. At that moment, I was actually there with 1 million people, but
Wow.
yet I
Show
could
off.
feel, I knew every one of them too. They were all my friends. But you could feel like you close your eyes and felt like you're the only one there with Jesus. I loved how you said that. Stephen, do you have anything to share about experiences with the Eucharist and Jesus?
I've got a lot. I'll try to keep it brief so that I don't have... Okay. So, honestly, I think the Eucharist has been kind of the central point of my faith and kind of the thing that it's been built upon. So, grew up, raised Catholic, but we were mostly Cape Catholics, Christmas, Ash Wednesday, Palm Sunday, and Easter, and that was about it. Every once in a while we'd go to just a regular Sunday Mass and then go have breakfast at my grandmother's, but that was mostly so that we could go to my grandmother's, not because we were focused on the Mass. But then I got to high school, and my freshman year started doing stuff with campus ministry. I was like, oh, neat, okay, there's a community here. I like the guys. I'm making friends. That's fun. And they had a retreat, and I heard from a lot of people. It was a fun time, and I went. First 2 days were a good time. The end of the second night, they had adoration, and that was my first ever exposure to it, and kind of learning that you could have this moment with the Blessed Sacrament, and kind of understanding more deeply that this is Jesus. And that's where that moment I credit for having me care about my faith at all. And ever since then, it's become the thing that I go back to whenever I'm struggling, or I feel out of sync. I feel if my prayers aren't being heard, something like that. I'll go to adoration, and I'll just spend some time there, and then it just feels right, feels better. So that really has kind of grown into my central point of faith. And even now, my girlfriend and I, a big part of our relationship is half the time if we don't know what we're doing that week, we'll go, oh, you want to go to adoration and then go get dinner afterwards? And it's been a great moment of growth for the both of us.
I gotta give you a
spiritually
Catholic, aw.
I
That's
love
so
that.
sweet.
Yeah, honestly, it's been really nice. I very much enjoy it.
Is it really sweet, Stephen, or are you just looking for a cheap way to go out on a date? Just kidding.
Well, I did mention that we go to dinner, and
Oh, you did mention the dinner.
I
Missed that part.
am not a cheap date, which is why I pay for most of it.
That is really special.
Yeah, so, yeah, the Eucharist, adoration, that understanding that Jesus is fully present there has been huge for me. And I've kind of had this, sparked from the NEC. Mother Olga had her quote where she'll, say goodbye to people, and she goes, oh, I'll see you in the Eucharist. And I had the realization that, whoa, that's the same Jesus everywhere. And then it kind of clicked with people from the past, too. My grandparents, one of my grandfathers I didn't really get to know. And so I had this realization that, whoa, when he went to Mass, that's the same Eucharist that I receive, that I go and adore, that he would have been doing the same thing.
That's so cool.
So it's a nice little moment of connection for me.
The same Jesus before, now, and forever. I love that point. I want to spend just a few minutes. We're talking about adoration, and I'm sure somebody listening is like, I have never gone. I have no idea. I've had other people tell me, do I have to go and kneel the whole time? How long do I need to be there? Let me just start by saying there is no wrong way to go and spend time with Jesus. But I thought maybe if you guys wanted to share just a few tips that maybe helps a new person who's going to adoration?
Obviously, us being a ministry that promotes the rosary, can't promote the rosary enough. I've found that praying through the mysteries, hey, title, nice, using the mysteries. I'm sorry.
Good plug.
Thank you. But praying through the mysteries, going through Jesus' life while he's right there, has been a really rewarding experience. So if you don't know where to start, you can just go and pray a rosary, pray a decade, something. It's an easy way. It doesn't take much. It's like 3 prayers. And then I also think it's important to remember that you can just kind of sit. You don't even need to have anything specific. I can remember the saint. Was it John Vianney who said, somebody asked him what he does in adoration, and he says, well, I sit there and I look at him and he looks at me. And so you can just do that. You can give whatever is on your heart, on your mind, just place it there. You don't have to do anything with it. Just say, here's all this stuff. I'll leave this with you. We can just sit with this.
And you can go for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour. You can sit. When you get into the chapel or the church and Jesus is on the altar, you are called to double genuflect, which is get both knees, if you can, on the ground. And then you can kneel for a little bit. You can sit. It's okay to sit. You can bring your Bible. You can bring a notebook. Or you can, as Stephen says, just sit and look at Jesus and let him look at you.
I'm a very visual person, so usually if there's like a stained glass or a statue or a painting in the chapel or the church where adoration is being held, I like to kind of just like sit and focus on that and visualize kind of what's going on in that imagery, and it helps me to kind of like stay focused in my meditation.
This is the place where I think my relationship, like my friendship with Jesus, exploded. Before that, I was just kind of very much like Stephen's family, the Christmas, Easter kind of Catholic. And then I joined a Bible study, mostly because I felt guilted because she gave me the book. And then I started to read the scriptures and I was like, oh, Jesus is real. Like before that, my faith was very surface. I was just doing things quite honestly to get perfect attendance and my get out of hell free card. In case all of this was real, I wanted to have evidence that I somehow did the bare minimums to know Christ. And then I was invited to go to adoration with some friends one time. And again, I was very awkward, didn't know what to do. But there was just this profound peace in that chapel with Jesus that made me want to come back again and again. And little by little, I'd get more comfortable going. I felt more comfortable reading the scriptures. I felt more comfortable praying. And Jesus went from being this completely invisible, lofty, out of, like, I just perhaps is a real person, to very real and a friend, as he calls himself in the scriptures. And I know none of that would have happened if I hadn't made time to sit with him and pray in adoration, because he's there in the Eucharist, body, blood, soul, and the divinity. So we're going to now move on to our rosary story.
So this one doesn't come with a name, not one that I'm seeing anyhow, but it is, again, from the Guild, like last episode. So as we mentioned last episode, if you didn't listen, we get our rosary stories that people submit, but we also work with Father David Marcham quite closely. He's a co-host. So we ask permission to use some stories that get sent to the Guild, because frankly, they're really good, and this is one of those.
And if you want to know more about the Guild, go to fatherpeyton.org. These are people who are promising to help us pray, to pray along with us for the canonization of Father Patrick Peyton, for his cause of canonization. He's venerable. We're hoping, God willing, we'll have a miracle very soon and he can become blessed. And we need your prayers and we need you to join with us. You can learn more on fatherpeyton.org. And now, the rosary story.
All right. So, again, don't have the name, but in January 2010, my sister was diagnosed with malignant fibrosis. She was devastated at this diagnosis and began aggressive chemotherapy, followed by radiation. It was necessary to encapsulate the tumor before performing surgery, as this type of tumor is a soft tissue tumor. I contacted many friends and relatives and sent them the prayer for a favor through the intercession of Father Patrick Peyton, who my sister and I had the honor to meet at the Little Sisters of the Poor House in San Pedro, California. I asked them to say this prayer for 9 days and ask Father Peyton's intercession to heal my sister. One relative now prays this prayer on a daily basis. By this prayer, she means the intercession prayer that we have.
Which you can find on fatherpeyton.org.
Yep. On May 24th, 2010, my sister had surgery, and the surgeon removed a 10-pound malignant sarcoma from her right thigh. After surgery, she had more radiation and chemo. The doctors were very pleased and quite amazed with the outcome. One nurse at the cancer center calls my sister the Miracle Lady. I firmly believe that this was a miracle brought about by Father Peyton's intercession.
One of the things Father David has taught us on Through the Mysteries is that in order for a miracle to be attributed to a particular person that you're praying through their intercession, they're the only people that you can pray through. So you have to have full confidence that Father Peyton can bring this miracle through his intercession, bringing it to Jesus, because only Jesus does the miracle part. But I had never known that. So I think it was pretty wise of this person to know that they had to ask the people to pray specifically to Father Peyton for his intercession. And again, you can find that prayer. I'll have a link for it on fatherpeyton.org. Any thoughts on this story, Victoria?
I just think it's so beautiful overall that we're compiling these stories, and this one in particular is very profound, being called the Miracle Lady and praying only to Father Peyton. It's just so beautiful to see, and I hope, that there are many more stories out there like this.
This one reminds me of, back to the NEC, it's a very National Eucharistic Congress type of day for us, I guess.
That's the theme.
Uh-huh.
Thanksgiving and NEC.
What a day. So there was Mother Olga. She was, if you guys don't know Mother Olga, look her up. She's great. Very inspirational. But she was giving this talk, and one of the things she said is that when it comes to miracles, people can always explain things away. You can always find some sort of out if you don't want to have faith. However, with something like this, it might not have been like a zap, like boom, the tumor's gone, no surgery, no chemo, anything needed. But clearly this needed prayer, she needed strength, and that was granted through this prayer. So it's one of those things, like if you're praying consistently, all the little things in your life, even the big things like this, they become little miracles in their own way.
Amen. Bottom line, with Jesus, there is always something to be thankful for. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to being with you next time.
Thank you for listening to Family Rosary Presents Through the Mysteries. Be sure to tune in every 2 weeks for a new episode. Please consider subscribing to the podcast, leaving feedback or a review, and recommending Through the Mysteries to your family and friends. For prayer resources or to learn more about Father Patrick Peyton, please visit familyrosary.org. Until next time, we pray you and your family will continue discovering new ways to weave the rosary into your daily life.